Great, thanks for that introduction. Go ahead. So before I get into my talk and the specifics, I pose this question for you to ponder during my talk. Why is wildlife important? Bill talked about that a little bit. Keep that answer in mind as I go throughout my presentation. And because there's lots of answers out there, and some could be ecosystem balance, culture, sustenance, driving up to Estes Park to spend money to hear the elk bugle, and my personal favorite is just mental health, just being able to get out and take a deep breath in the woods. So CPW's mission is to act as active stewards of Colorado's wildlife resources, but it's not just CPW's job, but I implore all of you to join us in sustaining these wildlife populations for future generations. And so CPW also recognizes that climate change can affect wildlife. And so the state of Colorado has two tools here to help increase the renewable energy development and decrease statewide greenhouse gas pollution in Colorado. But these projects have to go somewhere on the landscape, as well as places to live, work, and play. But wildlife is one of the reasons why Colorado is Colorado, and why lots of people like to come here to live and to visit. And so these activities, development activities, can have two types of impacts. They can have direct impacts, like you can see with that subdivision or mechanical, but also indirect. It can be something like a mountain biker, noises, lights, dust, odors, even weeds can have that. So how does CPW balance between the state's renewable goals and also wildlife populations? Well, it's through land use commenting and site visits, but CPW just makes recommendations. So it's up to the regulatory authority and the applicant to decide what to do with our recommendations. CPW also has a robust team across the state through 4 regions where we work with local CPW staff to make case-by-case project specifics. And my area of focus is the South Platte Basin, so from Fairplay to South Park, all the way up to Wyoming, Nebraska, and Kansas. So if you have a project there, please reach out to me and we can get talking about it. And as many of you know, the Northeast region, highlighted in red behind me, has a lot going on. Lots of people, lots of roads, lots of oil and gas and solar and wind. And so while we make site-specific comments, we also have cumulative effects, like this hypothetical example for the solar. If it's near a substation, you can have this Tetris effect going around. And there's not just one project, but lots of projects that can affect wildlife. And so, speaking of wildlife, CPW manages 960 species of vertebrates. So how do we decide which ones? Well, those that have good GIS data and also best management practices. And the result is a high priority habitat table and also map. But this map can't stay static because new developments are on the landscape. And so our local staff have to update these so that our land use comments can make accurate and current decisions and information and best management practices. So if you didn't already know, CPW has a solar website and on there, an energy website, but we have a solar BMP document on there. And also reach out to us on the first hour, not the 11th hour when you have a project. One of our projects might be, one of our BMPs is fencing, and you can see with fencing, with this angle, that there's a visual pinch point. Are big game using this? Well, a district wildlife manager and I put that question to the test, and we put game cameras up back in 2020. And it was exciting to see that, pronghorn or deer are using this big game movement corridor in Arapahoe County here. But is it still a success? Because it's still a loss of wildlife habitat. But it's exciting to see that wildlife are still using the corridor for a variety of like resting, nursing their young, and my personal favorite, teaching their newborn young how to use it for the next generation. So if you have a solar project, you can look at our high priority habitat map and reach out to us in the first hour because we may need a site visit. And if you do have opportunity for a big game movement corridor, please make them as big and as wide as possible because these new development requests will come. You can see in this Denver Regional Council of Governments 2035 map, a lot of growth is coming, but we have the opportunity to help how, when, and where these developments will occur on the landscape. Do you remember your answer at the beginning of this? Use that, and together we as a team can help Colorado achieve these renewable goals and also protect these high priority habitats for future generations. Thank you for your time and attention.